Hi, I'm Battu from Free FinCal. The interim budget was announced today, and they proposed a tax rebate under Section 87A, and they said that anybody having income 5 lakhs and below do not have to pay tax. So I'm going to show you some examples of how this is going to work. As usual, there's a lot of confusion about this. Some people are crying there's no change in tax slab. Some people are saying tax slab has changed. Some people are saying there's no benefit if my income increases by just 1 rupee and so on. So let's find out how this works. So this is a tax rebate, and this is not a change in the tax slab. So a tax rebate means that it will be applicable only to a certain section of the tax slab and not everybody. When there's a revision in the tax slab, everybody will get benefited uniformly, proportionally but uniformly. But when there's a rebate, your net taxable income should fall below a certain limit, and only then the rebate will apply. So let's take a look at examples. So I have here the old rule in column B and the new rule in column C, and let's take this row by row. So let's say the gross income is 7 lakhs. So old rule means that this will be valid in the current financial year. New rule means if it is passed and if the new government does not change it, the new rule will be applicable from the next financial year. That is from April 1st, 2019 onwards. So the old rule, let's say, so let's look at the gross income. The gross income is 7 lakhs. Obviously, it has to be the same in both the old rule and new rule, otherwise you cannot compare. So the gross income is 7 lakhs. Let's assume there are no deductions. There's no ATC, ATE, no deductions. Nothing is claimed by the individual, so that's 0. So the net taxable income is 7 lakhs in both cases, and the tax payable is 52,500 before cess and a little more after the 4% cess. Now look at that. There's no difference between the old rule and the new rule. So that's how the rebate works. It will not be applicable for all slabs. Now what I'm going to do is to add a deduction of I'm going to say that ATC, ATD, etc. deductions are all going to be 2 lakhs. There is also a standard deduction. We will assume that is also part of this deduction. So the total applicable deductions is 2 lakhs. So the net taxable income, this is what is important. The net taxable income is now 5 lakh. In the old rule, this was taxable. The tax payable was 12,500, and after cess it's 13,000. In the new rule, if the net taxable income is 5 lakh or less, then a tax rebate up to a maximum of 12,500 will be applicable. So the net tax payable is 12,500 before cess here, and the rebate will be just that. So you do not have to pay any tax. That's what they mean by saying you don't have to pay any tax if your net taxable income is 5 lakh or less. Now let's make this just 1 rupee more. When the net taxable income becomes greater than 5 lakh, there is no rebate applicable, and you have to pay a tax of 12,500. Well, that might sound a little unfair to you, but that's how rebates work. You cannot help it. There's a ceiling, but that's also true for a tax slab. When you go from one slab to another by just 1 rupee, you have to pay more tax. That's how it works. It's not a something big or new change or unfair thing happening here. So don't get worked up about it. So this is how the rebate works. In the earlier case, the rule was if the net taxable income was 3.5 lakhs or lower, a rebate of 2,500 was applicable. Now they have changed it to if the net taxable income is 5 lakh or less, a rebate of 12,500 is applicable. So now let's say we can play around with this. Let's say I put it 8 lakh. And then the net taxable income becomes 6 lakhs because the total applicable deductions, everything, standard deduction, ATC, ATD, ATG, whatever, all the NPS extra 50,000, whatever, let's say it's all 2 lakhs. So now the net tax payable is is not different in both cases. Why? Because the net taxable income is above 5 lakh. When the net taxable income becomes above 5 lakh, then you have to pay tax. The rebate does not apply. So this is how the tax rebate works. Now you can let's say make this 0 and make this 2 lakh. Now in this case, tax slab is 0. There's no problem. Now let's there's no tax payable. Now let's make this 4 lakh. Now if you look at this, in the old rule said if the net taxable income is less than or equal to 3.5 lakhs, a rebate of 2,500 is applicable. So that is why in this case, when it is 4 lakh, you have to pay a tax of 7,500 before cess. But now the new rule says the rebate is applicable when the net taxable income is 5 lakh or below. That is this case here, and so the full 7,500 will be rebated. Of course, you cannot apply 12,500 here, but since it is the maximum rebate is 12,500, since 7,500 is less, the full thing will be rebated, and then you have no tax payable. That is how the tax rebate under section 87A works. Do not get confused. The tax slabs have changed up to 5 lakh. Effectively, the tax slabs have changed up to 5 lakh. If you have a taxable income, if your gross income is 5 lakh or lower, then you do not have to pay tax. If your gross income is above 5 lakh, and if you can reduce that gross income to 5 lakh or less by using all applicable and legally valid deductions, tax deductions, then the tax rebate of 12,500 will be applicable and your tax payable will become 0. Oops. So that's how the new rule works. I hope I made myself clear. If not, please drop your comments below. If you want any other video on the budget, let me know, I'll make it. So that's essentially how this works. So I'll try and make a calculator of a full calculator with all deductions, slabs, everything put in and so on. But this is just a quick rough calculation. So I'll catch you again in another video. Bye bye. Oops.